Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. It's your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief, APGAINS, and a lot of you guys are new players coming to the game and you want to figure out how to set up a good account. You are old returning players coming back to the game, trying to figure out where the meta's at, what teams I can add to kind of revitalize my account. Or maybe you guys have been playing this whole time and you just kind of wandered off on your own thing and you want to figure out how to come back to the promised land, get the good squad, start winning more GACs, and all of that good stuff. We're going to teach you all about that today on today's episode of how to fix your Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes roster. Of course, it does not start with buying packs from Capital Games. That, of course, is a no-go. Now, we're going to do a big series on this stuff, so if you guys want to stay up to date on that, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comment, do all that other BS that makes YouTubers' egos super big so that I can become the happiest man in the galaxy. All right, so 3 things that make up a good account. What are they? Let's see if I can do this. There's ships. You can't see this one. There's Galactic Legends, but you don't get the little shimmy until you add the third piece, and that's the core. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about all of the teams that make up the core. You guys will hear this talked about a lot of your roster. They're the meat and potatoes. They're the get everything doners. They're not the specialists. They're the can do anything, whenever, wherever, always will be good from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. All right. Core teams. I'm going to briefly go through them really quickly and talk about a little bit afterwards why they are good. So if you guys just want to see what the teams are and don't want to hear the explanations, I got you. CLS, we got our EP Vader Mara, we got our Padme, our Bounty Hunters, our Darth Revan, our Jedi Knight Revan, our General Grievous, and our Gas. So basically, this is how it's going to work. And I kind of put them in order of which ones you should get earliest to which ones you should get latest. CLS, I mean, one of the best, if not the best, all-around viable early game, mid-game, late game, offensive, defensive teams. This team is a fucking monster at literally anything. You will never have a situation where CLS cannot help you get out of it. EP Vader Mara. Mara was a, whatever you call it, a marquee, so a lot of people just have her sitting at 3 stars. You don't need a lot of gear. No real investment in her. The Zeta is kind of nice. But basically this team just revolves around all 4 of these guys help people on the other team not take turns and help Darth Vader take turns. Of course, if you guys are new players, Darth Vader should be your first Zeta and your first Relic, of course. And he basically just kills everyone. A very good turn meter control team. The Padme team, it's a core team, very useful for, unlocking gas, but also, really weak Padme will beat super highly relicked first order teams. A lot of people love to rush SLKR, so if you don't want to, relic 7 all your SLKR requirements, like a gear 12 around the board with like a relic 2 Jedi Anakin team will wipe the floor with like max relic first order. So this is going to be a very useful team in the early game because you're going to see a lot of SLKR rush accounts, and you want to be able to beat their best team without having to invest very much yourself. Oramando Bosk Reef Zam. I use this to snipe Gas. I use this to snipe Cat when I face Kenobi. I use this to kill Darth Revan. This team is very fantastico, and especially now that Omicrons are starting to come to the game a little bit more, definitely going to be the first, if not the second Omicron that you're going to want to apply for your account. In the early game, this is going to kill basically anything. In the mid game, you're probably going to use this to kill Gas or Darth Revan, depending on what you say for offense, what you didn't. In the late game, you're going to use this to kill Cat so that you can bring Gas in to kill Kenobi. The best team in the game. So an all-around viable offensive team. If you are going to place this team on defense for whatever reason, make sure you switch out Bosk, put Bosk in here, and then put like Boba or Jango or something like that. Probably Boba, because Jango's not going to be with your bounty hunters. Darth Revan, I mean, no real explanation needed here. In the very early game, you want to get these guys fast because most opponents, even without Malik, aren't going to be able to beat this just because of the way the synergy works. Punches up a bunch, will always be good on defense, will pretty much always be good on offense. You want to throw in Marauder and Empire in the later games when you get these guys up and running. I need to get my Marauder up. It's something that I've been slacking on. Big damage, tank control. This team is a freaking beast. Conversely, the Jedi Knight Revan team right here with Yoda for damage, Jolie for revives, Hoda for some assists and recovery and all that stuff, because that's going to be super important when you go into those General Grievous battles, those Padme battles, where you want to recover and get max banners at the end of it. Also a great defensive team, by the way, especially in the early game. And then Mace Windu just because he tanks, and he'll help protect Yoda and Hoda and Jolie and all that stuff. General Grievous Separatist with Wat Tambor. If you don't have Wat Tambor, you can throw in Droideka. Or Newt Gunray. I mean, I usually use Newt Gunray on a Separatist team by himself with Jango and stuff like that. But Wat Tambor will be really good in here. this team basically, I use this to beat Galactic Legends. Like, this is my JML and Sith Eternal Emperor counter. Works pretty well for me. I haven't had too many problems with that. You guys can place this on defense to draw out, their best Jedi Knight Revan, especially if it's early game. But this team is basically just an offensive and defensive powerhouse to use kind of a utility team, depending on what your opponent's account looks like. And then we finish it up with gas, of course. All of this stuff kind of leads into gas, and gas is going to be like our best non-galactic team. And I usually say it's a bad idea to go for a galactic legend if you don't already have gas and Malak. That's generally the rule of thumb. I say get this up and running once you finish off Malak, once you finish off gas. That's probably about the time you want to go for a galactic legend. The reason we don't want to go for a galactic legend early is because let's say we have, let's say we have this core and our opponent, has a galactic legend, because this will take you about a year, and your opponent will spend about a little over a year to about a year to get their SLKR, for instance, right? They have one good team, and they're probably going to place it on defense. And a lot of times we think, oh my God, we can't beat that team at all. We lose. Well, obviously, we can just place a stronger defense that they can't beat more of their teams, we win. That's why, core will always beat Galactic Legends early, because the only reason Galactic Legends are good if you can throw it on top of a core, so that you can have that stonewall defense plus more teams than your opponent has to beat what they place, or to place a heavier defense, right? So, if we face core versus Galactic Legends, core, assuming the players are both, decently close in terms of actual skill level. Like, of course, if one player is brain dead and the other person is a genius, they might be a little bit better, but it's going to be a lot easier for the brain dead person with the core to win than a brain dead person with the Galactic Legend to win, of course, because you just have so much more that your opponent can't beat. Talk to your friends who have Galactic Legend rush accounts. They go into GAC and they're getting whooped because, maybe building up to it, they're getting whooped, but then they get their Galactic Legend. Oh, my opponent has never cleared my Galactic Legend, but their opponents probably have, defenses that they can't really beat through because they need core, right? You can't win battles if you don't have core, right? You can't win battles if you don't actually have teams to go into those battles with. And early Galactic Legends kind of hinder you in the ability to have those teams. You can have some teams, albeit weaker teams, but if you're coming in with a Gear 8, team of some kind, and you face, a Relic CLS like this, even if it's not even a highly Relic, even as, Gear 12, the synergy on this team is just going to stonewall you. You're not going to be able to beat that. Your best team is all just about the teams you can build at the end of the day. I think you guys get the point that it's just all about the teams you guys can build. If you have more good synergy, high power, usable teams, you always win. You always win, regardless of Galactic Legends. We're going to talk about Galactic Legends in the next episode, and we're going to talk about ships. Make sure you guys subscribe so you guys can see that. As always, I love you, and I'll see you guys later.